Good morning, everybody. It's Mallory Smythe on behalf of Endow. So one thing I talk about whenever I talk about my time as a focused missionary is something that I call my Peter moment. I was a missionary at the University of Tennessee, and I was serving in full-time ministry to these students. And one morning, I was on my way to the chapel to pray, and I had no desire to go to the chapel. I had no desire to be in Tennessee. I had no desire to be a missionary. I kept just thinking that I wanted a more glamorous life, and at that moment, I wanted to go on vacation. And so I took these thoughts with me into the chapel, and as I was thinking about them, I had this moment where I looked at the Eucharist and said, Lord, to whom else shall I go? In the same way Peter said that. Because I realized that even if my life was more glamorous, and even if I was on vacation, I'd have to go find time to pray. I'd have to find time to be in communion with God. I'd have to find time to spend with Jesus, because I'd come to truly believe that He is the Son of the living God, worth giving everything for, and worth drawing my identity from. I think all of us have to have that moment in our lives where we decide who Jesus is to us and how that is going to affect the rest of our lives. This Sunday, in the readings, in the gospel, we meet the rich young man. And we've all heard this story before. The rich young man comes to Jesus and he says, "Good teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life?" Jesus responds to him and he says, "Why are you calling me good?" And then he says, live out the commandments. And the young man says, "I've observed these commandments from my youth." And then the scriptures tell us that Jesus looked on him and loved him. And he said, "But you lack one thing. Go and sell all you have and give it to the poor and come and follow me." And then it says that the young man's face fell and he walked away, for he had many possessions. See, I think the key to this entire passage is the very first part, whenever he goes up to Jesus and says, "Good teacher." He has identified Jesus as a good teacher, and we can learn much from good teachers, but good teachers are not worth selling everything for. They're worth learning something from so that we can make our already good lives better. But see, Peter, when Jesus said to Peter, "Who do you say that I am?" Peter said, "You are the Son of the living God." Peter saw Jesus as the Son of the living God, and that is a person that you submit everything for. Peter gave everything to follow Jesus. He wasn't perfect, we know that. But because he gave his entire life to the Son of God, the Son of God gave life back to Peter, and we're talking about him today. Whereas the rich young man chose to find his identity in his already good life and just wanted a little bit more from Jesus. And because of that, we don't even know his name. I think this is so important for us in modern times because we have access to so much. And we can decide that Jesus and Christianity is going to be a good teacher to make our already good lives better. Or we can decide that Jesus is the Son of the living God, worth submitting everything for, giving our lives for, so that He can give us the life that He has for us back. And so this week, as we approach the Sunday readings, I would invite you to think about that. Would you be willing to lay down everything because you see Jesus as the Son of God? Or do you see Him as a good teacher that can make your already good life a little bit better? The first one will lead you to abundant life, and the second will lead you to chasing the wind. If you want to know more about who Jesus is, you can look into our Endow studies at www.endowgroups.org. And you can connect with us on Instagram or Facebook at Endow Groups, and you can always connect with me at Mallory A. Smythe on Instagram. Have a great week.